Welcome to the Mystery Mouse Podcast. My name is Holly, and I'm coming to you from Colorado, where I live with my husband, David, and our 5 kids, and our many, many pets. And before I get started today, I want to introduce you to the newest member of our family. This is Watson. This is Watson. He is a 10-week-old dachshund or dachshund puppy. And we got him a couple weeks ago, and that's why I haven't recorded in a while, because he's been keeping us very busy. We've never had a dog before. At least I've never had a dog before. So this is a big learning curve for me, but he is very sweet. We named him Watson. Here, Mary. We named him Watson because we wanted to be able to say, "Come, Watson," like Sherlock Holmes. That's, yeah. So he is named after Dr. Watson, and he is very, very sweet. The story behind getting Watson: we have a lot of pets. We have 3 cats, we have guinea pigs, we have a rabbit, we have chickens, and I did not want to get a dog. But my husband has always wanted a dog. He's a dog person, I'm a cat person, so he always says we compromised and got cats. But he was starting to think about getting an iguana, which I don't really mind. When we were dating, he had an iguana loose in his apartment. But so I knew what I was getting into, right? But I did not want to have another cage in the house that we had to clean, and you know. So I said, "Honey, why don't we just get a dog?" Because the kids were really wanting to get a dog, and I did not want to get a dog, but I would rather have a dog than another cage in the house. So we started looking into it. One of his coworkers had just gotten 2 dachshund puppies, and so they knew a good place to get them, a reputable place. And also, so we called them, and then they didn't have any, but they had a dachshund that was about to give birth to puppies. And so then we had some time to save our money, and it just all worked out. The Lord worked it all out. I guess he wanted us to have a dog. So we got Watson, and he's been a lot of fun. Very sweet, a lot of work. It's just like having a toddler and, you know, potty training them. And so anyway, he's been keeping us busy, but in a good way. We also lost one of our chickens. We had 8 chickens, and one of them died. It was very sad and a little traumatic. She got egg bound, and I'm not going to give you the gory details, but if you want to look that up, or if you're a chicken person, you know what that means. And I just think she couldn't recover from that. That was very sad. So anyway, we have 7 chickens now instead of 8. So the reason you're here is knitting, right? It is Shark Week. There's a lot going on, and I'm going to be talking about that. I don't have any FOs this week, so everything is a whip, but I have new whips. I've got acquisitions. I've got some book haul. I've got a shop update to show you the stuff for, and I think that's it. So let's get into the whips. So first of all, I did want to show you, I have been working on Tobys Sweater. As you will recall, perhaps, if you watched the last couple episodes, I got one sleeve done, and then I didn't touch the next sleeve. So now I have done quite a bit on the other sleeve. It feels like quite a bit to me. So here's the one completed sleeve. This is how long it is. Wait, no, that's not it. Here it is. This is how long the sleeve is. Here's how far I've gotten on the other sleeve. So, I feel pretty good about that. I know I need to work on it because I keep knitting things for myself, and the boys always notice. This is what happens when you have teenagers. They become your worst critics, even, you know, if they're being nice about it, which they aren't always nice about it. But anyway, so I do want to get this done. I mean, I'm not in a huge rush because he won't wear it in the summer. He just, you know, that would be silly. Although Toby is so funny. He's 13. He's at that age where he's just going to wear what he wears, right? So he insists on wearing a flannel shirt, like to church. He only will wear a flannel shirt. I have bought him dress shirts, you know, or collared shirts or whatever, that are not flannel for the summer. He won't wear them. He wears a plaid flannel shirt over a t-shirt, and then like on normal days, he will wear a t-shirt with the plaid flannel shirt unbuttoned. It doesn't matter if it's 90 degrees. Like if we go to the park, that's what he wears. So, but I still don't think he would wear a sweater. He can add it to his very limited wardrobe. In the fall, I remember being like that when I was a young teenager also, but not with flannel. So when this is just, I don't know if I ever talked about this bag. This is just a bag a friend made for me. It's just like a plain, it's kind of like a big pillowcase. So that is Tobys night sweater. Oh, I forgot to talk about what I'm wearing. This always happens to me because I can't see it because it's on my body. So I am wearing my faucet, and I'll try to stand up. I have no room back here. If you guys could see my setup where I am filming, this is Grady's little play area right by the bookcase, and there's a bench in front of me, so I'm just wedged in, and I have all this stuff on the bench, and on the floor is covered with toys because I shoved everything off the bench onto the floor. So I will try to stand up and see if I can show you. This is my faucet. I think the length of the sleeves makes it look kind of like a 1940s retro thing, which I really like. And anyway, so it fits really well. I'm wearing it with a dress that I bought just because I thought it would look good with the sweater. And I bought it at the grocery store because we started going to a new grocery store, and it's kind of big, and they have some clothes. I mean, it's just a grocery store, but it's like a little bit fancy. Anyway, this is my faucet, and I just wanted to show you. Also, I wanted to show you the neckline, how it is, because remember, I started after the first increase, so if I had not done that, it would have been like up here. So I'm really glad that I did that. All right, but back to the whips. I have just a little bit. It's kind of funny because sometimes when I show a project on the podcast, it's like after the podcast is over and up, I kind of feel like I can move on from that project instead of working on it more. But I do have a little bit of an update on my brown bear granny things. I finished all of the squares that are all of the colors, you know, like they're this size. I finished all of them. There are 9. And then I've just started making more smaller squares like these with just one color. But I'm trying to figure out how to make them fit together because I just don't think they're going to fit together. And of course now I can't find. So I took one square, if I can find it. Please hold. Oh, here it is. I took one square and I started like just single crocheting around the edges. I don't know if I like this or not because I think I would have to do a couple rounds before it was big enough. So I don't know if I should just add a round in a different color. I just added in the white from the white dog. So I figured I hadn't made any of the plain squares in the white or the black. So I thought maybe what I would do is take these little squares, the colorful ones, edge them in either white or black, and maybe I would have enough. So, but I'm trying to make the smaller squares fit like 2 per larger square. And I think maybe if I just did one more round of a granny square, it would work. I want to get this done. I say that every time. I want to get them all done. At the same time, I think if I could just snap my fingers and get them done, I would feel like that was cheating, you know? But, I mean, I'm enjoying this, but I haven't worked on it in like a week maybe because I think I'm just kind of stuck. But I bought this brown bear adjacent fabric, and I wanted to show you because I think what I'm going to do is make a pillowcase for Grady's, you know, pillow out of this, and then he can have his matching blankie. I think they look really nice together. So that's my plan for that, and that's given me a little oomph to want to do that. And that is in my Brown Bear mini skein set that's available in my shop. And it's being held in a Delightful Works bag by Susan of Delightful Works. Let's see. I did also work on my Everywhere sweater. I finished the one sleeve, as your last time, if you watched, I think it was over here. I had like this much sleeve left to do. I finished that sleeve. I put the other one on the needle, but I really wanted to count the stitches like that I started with on this arm really, really carefully, because I was concerned that it was too big, and I think I might have just cast on kind of the smallest number of stitches I could instead of what was in the pattern. I just want to make sure they're the same. I don't want to have one sleeve that's like this and one sleeve that's like this. So I haven't gotten very far in that, but I have worked on it. Those are all of the projects that I have shown you before that I have worked on, but I have some new things to show you. First of all, for the Texas Peach Knits Fluff Your Stash Mal, I have housed in this bag something different than was in here last time, I think. I'm going to start a new crochet blanket. I've just kind of been swatching for it. I'm going to make these daisy squares. This is just a practice one. I'm not going to do this purple border, but I just kind of wanted to see if I could figure it out. This is a tutorial I found online for a free pattern, and I'll link it below because it's very cute. The actual pattern is crocheted in bulky yarn, and this is just worsted because I wanted to use stash yarn that was just sitting around for the Fluff Your Stash. So what I'm planning to do is make a combination of these daisy granny squares and strawberry granny squares, which I will put a picture up here of a strawberry granny square pattern. And I am going to use this yarn for the strawberries, this for the strawberry leaves, and these are all just wool worsted weight yarns. And then I'm gonna use, of course, the white for the daisies, yellow for the centers. This is all I have of the yellow. I hope it's enough, but the centers are very small. And I also have this darker cream, so I thought this might be a good, I don't know. I just thought I might need it for a border or something. And I just put one ball of each color in these, but like of this green, I have a bunch. Like I have 4 or 5 of these. And I only have this one. This is a yarn that I dyed when I was practicing dyeing yarn before I started my shop. And it was kind of a bricky red, and then I over dyed it to be a little bit brighter. So I think it's gonna be a great strawberry. And these are just some wool of the Andes scraps I had. This is a Cascade 220. So I think this is what I'm gonna do for the border around the daisies. And I think that's gonna be really pretty. I have 2 more skeins of this Cascade 220. And then I have this Willow Yarns Rustic, and this is just a 100% wool, and it's really falling apart, but and I think I'm gonna do this around the strawberry squares, so we shall see. But I'm gonna do this as a sort of strawberry project to go with the strawberry shortcake mal that Allie of Little Drops of Wonderful is doing. And listen, I am not a good knit-along person. I have never been very good at participating in knit-alongs because it's hard for me to keep up and share and all of that, but I have really been enjoying the Shark Week challenge that Politically Incorrect Knitters is putting on this week. And so I just want to try to do more, just especially if I'm interested in making something and it fits, I'm just going to try to join in a little bit. So anyway, this is just in this bag I made myself. And I need to try to swatch the strawberry squares. What I'm really interested to see is, will the strawberry squares be the same size as the daisy squares? Because there's no guarantee. Because if not, I still want to do them together, but I might like see if I have a few more colors and do another kind of square, or I could, of course I could do more borders around something if I need to make it bigger. But anyway, it's just kind of fun. Like I can just make a bunch of squares, you know, and then figure it out. I just hope I get to the putting them together stage, because I seem to be getting hung up at that stage in a lot of these delightful granny square projects. But anyway, that is a new sort of cast on. I did start making, I didn't show you, I did start making a bunch of the centers for the daisies. I have like 4 or 5 because I brought that to church on Sunday night, and I didn't want to keep looking at the tutorial on my phone during church, so I just made a bunch of centers because I could remember how to do that. Okay, I want to show you my Shark Week project. This is in my little shark bag by Susan of Delightful Works. So many people have these bags. It's so fun. So what I have in here is, this is in my Feeding Frenzy, my own hand-dyed yarn in the Feeding Frenzy colorway. I have just 1 skein of DK is what I saved for myself. And I'm knitting the 1898 hat, and I'll put a picture of it here. And this is a free pattern. I think it's put out by the Siemens Institute or something. And it's a free pattern because it's supposed to be a hat that you knit for sailors for charity who are gone like at sea for 6 months or a year or whatever. And but it is an excellent pattern. It's got a doubled brim, so you knit it flat with this slip stitch center, and then you increase to make the ear flap, so it kind of bunches out. And I have a little Sharky stitch marker I just made for myself. And so this is the back of the hat. You're supposed to cast on provisionally, but I always just seam it up. And then you have an ear flap. This is the front of the hat, and then you do another ear flap and a little bit past to go to the back. You seam this together. You pick up these 2 stitches, which you slip so they are really easy to see because they're nice and big. You just pick them up together, and that sandwiches them together, and you knit the crown of the hat. So it's a great pattern. It's really fun. It's kind of nice because it's pretty mindless, although I have had to tink back like 4 times because I wasn't counting my rows right. It was so funny because I was supposed to get up to like, I don't remember, 42 or something like. So I'm counting by 2s on my ridges because 1 ridge is 2 rows. I'm like 2, 4, 6, 8, blah, blah, blah. I get to 40. I'm like 40, 41, 42 instead of 40, 42. And I did that like 8 times. I'm like, something is wrong. So I figured that out. I think it was just knitting too late at night. And this is in DK, like I said. It's supposed to be in worsted. I'm kind of hoping, I'm just knitting it to pattern, but I'm kind of hoping that it will turn out a little smaller and can be for Grady for a winter hat for him. So I think that'll be really nice and stay in his head really well. The nice thing too about these slip stitches is that they really make the ear flaps like kind of pull in a little bit, and it really cups your ears. So this is an excellent hat. I've knit it twice before, and I think the men folk whom I knitted for lost them camping, or they might be on the camping stuff, but I wish they would bring them into the house where it's safe. Anyway, so this is my Shark Week project. This has to be completely finished by midnight on Tuesday, whatever that date is. I think it's the 18th, right? Tuesday the 18th. I'm not too worried about getting it done, but I cannot promise that this will be the only thing I work on. I don't wanna make it scary though, so I'm trying to front load and get a lot done. But I'm enjoying that so much, and I will link Politically Incorrect Knitters if you want to watch some of the other Shark Week shenanigans down in the description box below. Okay, another new cast on, which I did for July 4th, just passed, is a cross stitch actually. I decided, I think on July 4th, I was kind of, because I didn't have any patriotic knitting. I didn't make a patriotic yarn. It just snuck up on me, and we had the puppy and it was too much. So I decided I was gonna start this cross stitch pattern by Brooks Books. It's called the Spirit of America Dimensional Angel Ornament, and I bought a cross-stitch chart pack, which did not have the threads with it, but it has it's stitched on perforated paper. This is the perforated paper, and it came with beads and needles and of course the charts. And so I decided I'm gonna start this. I went to Hobby Lobby or Joann's or somewhere and bought the rest of the threads I needed. I think I couldn't get one, they were out of one, but I got everything else because that's kind of what was keeping me started, that's what was stopping me, because I kept going to start it and like all the colors on the edges I didn't have. I just had like strange colors in the middle. So this is what it looks like so far. And I'm super happy. I'm really enjoying it because it's just big blocks of color. And so of course, every time I'm doing like one of these strips, I'm like, oh, I want to get this stripe done. I want to get this stripe done. I want to get this stripe done. So I can do the next one. And it's kind of, it's kind of ridiculous, but it's really fun. And it's, I don't have to keep looking at the chart every 2 minutes. So that's kind of nice. So she has a whole bunch of these. If you're a cross stitcher and you've never checked out Brooks Books, I saw her stuff on some other podcast, and she has a lot of free patterns. She has some adorable free Christmas patterns, and she has a ton of these angels, and she has a knitting angel, which I think I also bought. I bought the knitting angel and the patriotic angel, but I am going to turn this into a tree topper. We have a little like 3-foot tree we put on a table that we do as a patriotic tree, and we have little felt presidents that my husband has gotten when he goes to Washington DC. And so I think we have like Praying Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson. I think he might have just gotten John Adams. But anyway, and then we have like just other patriotic things on there. So I thought this would be a great tree topper because it's going to be like, I don't know, it's going to be like this big, right? So I thought what I would do is, instead of just backing it flat, I'll back it like with a piece of felt or something. And then I will also like put another piece of felt on like on the edges and leave like a little like a pocket, like a kind of a fat pocket, and I can stick that onto the top of the tree, and she can be on top of our tree. So I'm really excited about that. I'm gonna try to keep working on it. Cross stitch is a ebbs and flows kind of thing for me. So I promise I gotta work in my mom's, Christmas thing. I'm so glad I told you guys I was doing that, because it's really making me stay accountable. So that's a new thing. Also, I have, and I need to put this back together, I have started Teddy's vest. I'll show you the pattern. It's in this magazine, this ancient magazine from 2017. This is a great magazine, though. I've actually made several things out of it. But Teddy wanted this vest, and we had an episode where he picked out the pattern he wanted. So this is the vest. He just wants me to do the top a little differently. And all of his yarn is in this bag, which I made. This is a vegetable bag. But his, the knitting is actually in here. So I'm gonna take it out and put it in the right bag. I think I was just, this has a sock project on it. I did work on these socks, by the way. They're just some plain vanilla socks. Oh, I dropped a bunch of stitches. Okay, I'll do that later. I did work on those, but not very much. So this is how much I've gotten done. I think already I'm going to need to buy more yarn. Now, one thing I changed in the pattern, I decided to knit the second size because he's like a medium, but he is 15 and he's thin. So I think, so when I started knitting it, then I started getting worried that it was going to be too big. So in the pattern, they have you increase, like, you know, it just gets slightly wider as it goes up to the shoulders, which I'm sure would look very nice. But I looked at the pattern, and the If I did not do the increase, by the time I got to the top, the numbers were same as for the smallest size. So I decided just not to do the increases. I'm just going to go straight up. And I'm kind of worried already that I'm going to run out of yarn because I just started the second ball and I bought 6 balls. I did not look at the yarn requirements for this. Sometimes if you don't do the actual yarn, depending on the magazine, if you don't use the actual yarn that they tell you, they don't tell you how many yards to do in a magazine pattern. They just tell you, you need 7 balls of this yarn. And if, you know, sometimes the yardage is not perfectly equivalent and you're like, well, did they just guess? Or do they make you buy extra because, you know, they don't want you to run out? I don't know. So I bought 6 50-gram balls of this Knit Picks Swish. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to need more. Probably a lot more. But I figured I will use this up. This is in the, so this is Knit Picks Swish DK in the Delft Heather colorway. It's 123 yards per 50 grams. So I'm just going to have to, when I get low, I guess, order more. But it's very nice to knit. It's very easy right now, of course, because it's just stockinette. And this is knit in pieces, front and back. And this is a stitch marker that was in my advent calendar last year. That was made by EB & Co. on Etsy. And she is doing stitch markers for my advent calendar this year also. By the way, there's 2 advent calendars left in my shop, and once they're gone, they're gone. So that is Teddy's vest. I'm trying to keep everything together because I often take things out of bags and then they get scattered around to the 4 winds. My most exciting new cast on is in this bag by Random Fandom, my I Love Lucy bag. And this is the Gilded Sweater by Knitty McPurly. I am so excited. You didn't even see this last time, and I am already done with the yoke. So I really need to put it on a different needle. And I did short rows on this also. Let me see. Here is the front. And I have actually decided to do this sweater in Knitty McPurly yarn. So my 3 colors are Trinket for the gold, Morel is the kind of brownish gray, and Poirot is the dark purple. So I am really enjoying how this is turning out. The color up top is a little bit subtle, and then of course it really pops down here, and I have some big plans. I'm not just doing this the way the pattern's written, of course. So I have some plans for some other changes that I'm going to make, but I have done the yoke pretty much as written, except that I think I did my own short rows, I think. I can't remember. She might have had short rows in there. But anyway, this is going to be my Victorian-inspired gilded sweater. So I'm gonna do the poofy sleeves, but I might do a longer ribbed cuff, a longer tight ribbed cuff to make the poof happen further up in my arm. And I probably will do it a little cropped and do the ribbing longer on the body. So that's part of my plan, and I have some plans for the yoke for some embellishment afterwards. So stay tuned for more on the gilded sweater. And this is in the called for yarn, Knitty McPurly's Athens alpaca. I think it's Athens. So it's really soft. It's really nice to work with. It is very different than wool. It's really interesting. It doesn't have the stretch of wool, and I think I'm really glad that it's got the stranded color work, because I think that gives it a little structure and helps it to have something to hold on to. So, but anyway, I love knitting this yoke. It just flew by, and now I'm into the stockinette, and I need to put it on another needle, try it on so that I can see if I want to do the sleeve separation where it says in the pattern, or earlier or later or what. But anyway, I'm very excited about this. I think that's all my whips, which feels like a lot. It feels like I've been working on a lot of things and, you know, making progress. I don't feel too bad about that. I do have some acquisitions. So first of all, let me show you. My husband bought me 3 balls of this yarn several years ago, pre-podcast for me, for my birthday, because I asked for it. It's a Barrett Wool Co. Wisconsin Woolen Spun fingering weight in the jam colorway. So I have 3 of these, and I thought I'll just make a fingering weight sweater, because since this is woolen spun, it has a lot of yardage. It's 450 yards for 100 grams. So it's very light, and this is American wool, and it's just very nice. But I could never just, I don't know, I didn't want to knit a fingering weight sweater in one color. I just felt like it was going to take forever, and I was going to lose my motivation. So the other day, I thought, this is ridiculous. I'm just going to buy myself, because for some reason, because I got this for my birthday, I had this in my head, like, I could never buy this for myself. It's gift yarn. So I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm going to look on her website, because this is Susan B. Anderson. And her, you know, her stuff sells out, and she has to wait for it to come back in stock from the mill and stuff like that. And so a lot of times, you know, colors will sell out and stuff. So anyway, I just decided to look on her website and see what she had. And I got 1 ball of the Harbor colorway, which is this really nice, dark, almost navy blue. It's not navy, but it's really close. And this rain shower gray. And so I figured together these almost make kind of a patriotic palette, but also, now that I have them all, I kind of wanted to get more of a white, and she was out of white. Now I kind of want to stock her shop for white, and maybe another blue or something, or green or black. I don't know, because now I want to make like a Fair Isle, a full-on color work all over Fair Isle sweater. And but anyway, so this is in waiting for a pattern and maybe for more yarn, but I'm really looking forward to that. But what I was really excited about was I got a Good Bear kit. I've always wanted to make a Good Bear. I think I talked about it sometime before Christmas last year. Well, I never did. I never even bought the pattern. It's just all in my head. So, but I thought I'd look at her kits, because her kits, when she puts up a new kit, it usually sells out really fast. But she'll restock them, and then they're kind of like, you just have to check. So I thought I'd just check. So she had this 1 colorway of the Good Bear kit left. So I thought I'd show you what's in it. I did not get the wood buttons. You can get ones with wood buttons, but it's way more expensive. So first of all, you get a little code for the pattern. Then this is the color of the bear. It's kind of a dark gray. It's like a bluish gray. And then I can't even remember what all his things are. He's got pants and a sweater and a hat, and I'm not sure. I think this is the hat, the green. And I can't remember what this is for. But this is all the yarn. And it's just cool because you get like exactly the amount you need to make it. And then she even gives you little pieces of yarn and embroidery floss and the safety eyes to do the finishing. So I am really excited. I told myself when I bought this that I'm going to make this for Grady. I know it sounds like I make everything for Grady, but he's 2 and he's enthusiastic. So, but we'll see. I might keep it. I don't know. If Grady loves it, he can have it, but I'm very excited about that. I've made a couple of Susan B. Anderson's other toy patterns and really enjoyed them. And so maybe I'll show those next time because I didn't bring them up from my craft room. But I'm going to really enjoy making this little bear. And it comes in this little bag. It's very cute. Okay, I have a small book haul that I got at Second and Charles. We went out for our anniversary. We had our 21st wedding anniversary at the end of June, and we went out to dinner, and we went to Second and Charles because this is what we do when we go out together. So first of all, I got Anne of Avonlea. Emily of Woldenburn and I are reading through Anne of Green Gables together, very slowly, admittedly. So I did not have the second book, so now I have it. So I'm hoping to get that started soon. I was kind of stuck, and I had a whole bunch of the other books in the series, but I didn't have the second one, so now I can start that. So I was happy to find that. I also got this kind of random mystery book called Unsigned, a book lover's mystery, because I have another one that I bought used somewhere called Untitled, which was in this sort of series. It's just like a mystery, and it happens at a publishing company or at a, something like that, a book conference, or so it's just kind of fun. And I enjoyed the other ones, so I got this one also. And it looks like there's a bunch. I didn't see any of the other ones. They had actually the other one that I had, but I didn't buy it because I already had it. But they have Unbound, Unprintable, Untitled, Unsolicited, Unsigned, and Uncatalogued. And these were published in the early 2000s, it looks like. So I got that. Then I got 2 Ellis Peters books. Ellis Peters writes the Brother Cadfael. Is that how you say it? He's like, they're like medieval kind of times, and he's a monk mysteries. I have several of that series. So I got this one, The Leper of St. Giles. And then I also got this one. This is an Inspector George Felse mystery by Ellis Peters. And this is a more modern day, well, I mean, I say modern day. When was it published? The publishing date to me says more than many things. 1970. Okay, so this is modern to 1970, I think. And I don't think I have any of this series, so I'm excited about those. And then I got 3 Mrs. Polifax mysteries. I remember back in those days before I had kids, when I could listen to audiobooks, I got a bunch of Mrs. Polifax audiobooks from the library, like on tape or maybe CD. But, and I just remember really enjoying them. And there is a Mrs. Polifax movie that was on Prime a while ago, and I watched it. I think they took it off. But with Rosalind Russell and Darren McGavin, and I really like that movie. If you haven't seen it and you like these books, I really enjoyed that. It looked like it was in the 70s, like in the Darren McGavin days, right? He's so good. I really like him. So I got Mrs. Polifax Pursued, Mrs. Polifax and the Second Thief, and Mrs. Polifax Innocent Tourist. Is that the first one? Maybe not. I need to... The thing is, I really enjoy reading through series like this in order. Even if you don't have to, that's just the way I am. So I might be trying to collect the rest of these before I read them, but that's fine, because that is the wonderful thing about books, is they just wait for you, and they don't expire or disappear or anything like that. They're just here, and I appreciate that about books. Now I have some information on my next shop update, which will be Saturday, July 15th at 12 p.m. Eastern. I have quite a bit of yarn. I have been dyeing yarn just crazily, and it's been so hot. But I'm really, really, really excited about the yarns I have to show you today. I put out on Instagram a little questionnaire in my stories that I wanted to dye yarn based on classic books, and I just wanted some input. So I got a lot of great suggestions, and I just would like to show you. I wrote them all down, and I would love to get to every single one of them, but of course I have to do a little at a time. So first of all, I am trying during the summer to dye yarn based on island books. So I've done Treasure Island and Baby Island. So then I got a suggestion about a book that I thought would be great to fit in with that island theme for the summer, and that is The Swiss Family Robinson. So here is The Swiss Family Robinson. It is a bright leafy green with some brown speckles. I really love how it turned out. It's very reminiscent of their tree house. So this is on DK and this is on fingering. It's available on both bases. So this is Swiss Family Robinson. I got a lot of requests for Jane Austen, so I had to do Jane Austen. So there were some people that asked for specific stories by Jane Austen, and some people who just said, please do some Jane Austen. So I will try to get around to all the ones that were requested, but I decided to do my favorite Jane Austen, which is Sense and Sensibility. So this is Sense and Sensibility, and it's just a very warm gold and cream with a mauve section. And I just think this is so pretty. So this is Sense and Sensibility, also available on DK and fingering. My most requested book, which I thought was really cool because it's one of my very favorites, was The Count of Monte Cristo. If you have never read The Count of Monte Cristo, you need to read it. Read it in the winter when you have some time and it's quiet. But it is an amazing, amazing story. It's so interesting and different and full of adventure and romance, and I just love it. So this is The Count of Monte Cristo. This is blue grays and coral with black speckles. Let me see if I can, some speckles here. Anyway, I love how this turned out. It's moody and just like the book. So that's The Count of Monte Cristo. I got a request for Winnie the Pooh, so I decided to do classic Winnie the Pooh with those very soft watercolor illustrations. So this is going to be called 100 Acre Wood, and this is just a very soft pastel green and blue, pink and brown, and it just looks like the map of the 100 Acre Woods to me. I can never tell because I don't film with my screen facing me. I can never tell if things are blowing out or showing, but I love how this turned out. I'm super happy. And I also, because I just thought it would be so fun, decided to dye mini skeins for the characters. So I did Winnie the Pooh, Piglet, his green sweater in the classic, Tigger, Eeyore, and Owl. So I think these would go together so well and make the most adorable baby knits. And I dyed, these mini skeins are also available on DK mini skeins or fingering weight. So you could get these as a set if you wanted to, or get them separately. And I think these would be the cutest baby knits. So that is 100 Acre Wood and Winnie the Pooh mini skeins. I also dyed up my Summer in Avonlea colorway, which is a very pale green with purple and blue speckles, just sort of for the Avonlea Seasons series that I'm doing. This is only available on fingering. I'm really hoping to make the 4 seasons really go well together. So if someone wanted to make a shawl or even a blanket or something with all the colors, they would go really nicely together. So this is the Summer in Avonlea. And I think that is all. Oh, no. I'm also doing, I will put in this shop update, the last, for this year, the last Nancy Drew's Summer Sock Mystery Club for August. So I will put that picture up here, the inspiration photo of the book cover for the August Mystery Club. That has been a very popular club, and it's been selling out pretty quickly. So I hope that if you are collecting those, that you'll be able to get your hands on one. And listen, if anybody ever wants a sweater's quantity, or something sells out or anything like that, please let me know. I'm not a huge yarn dyer, and I don't get like 100 requests a day for things, so I probably could make something special for you if you need it. So just let me know, and I would be happy to do that for you. So in the comments, if you have a classic book that you would really like me to dye yarn for, please let me know in the comments. Or if you just, you've already told me, but you have some more ideas, just let me know. I'm writing all these things down. I will try to get to as many of them as I can, because most of these books are books that I also love, or that I could just see as yarn, and it's really fun. So I would love for you to let me know in the comments what classic books you would like me to dye. And I think that's it for today. I kind of gave you a life update already with our puppy and our chicken. And also be sure to check out Shark Week, and I hope you are playing along. I would love to hear what you're making for that. And if you are using my Feeding Frenzy yarn for Shark Week, I would love to know how your project is turning out. I would love to see pictures of it. So just make sure you tag me or say Feeding Frenzy or something, so I can like if you're in any of the chats for that Shark Week or on Instagram, I would love to see that. If you need to tag me on Instagram, my Instagram is Mystery Mouse Yarn. And okay, so I think that's it for today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. I hope to see you at the shop update on Saturday, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.